All right, should we talk officiating? Should we go down that rabbit hole?
We have to do it. We have to absolutely have to do it. Ladies and gentlemen, we are moving on because we want to ask this question. There's been a lot of conversation over the last 24 hours about this game being all about certain penalties that potentially cost us the game. Will, let's go into this because there were some penalties that, even the league said, yeah, we kind of missed on that one. But then there was also some penalties that could have adversely affected the game that, is kind of like, ooh, thank goodness they did miss those penalties. So there's a good and the bad. Let's break it all down. Will, talk to me about this. We know the main ones. The one with McLaurin where they said he wasn't on the line. The one on the fourth down on that drive where Samuel was hit and it was deflected. Even one before, if you look at that, I believe it was like one of the first or second fourth down where we go kind of deep to Samuel and he gets hit prior to the pass and there's no call on that. And you look at him looking up immediately like, what are we doing? Why was there no call? So talk about it. Did the penalties cost us the game?
100%. Penalties cost us the game. The no call on Curtis Samuel cost us a chance to have the ball at the 1 yard line, first down, 4 plays. The penalty on Terry McLaurin took 6 points off the board. The OPI on Jahan Dotson took 2 points off the field. They absolutely cost us the game. But what also cost us the game, Charles Leno holding play on Charles Leno, which made a first down run, 2nd and 18. Very next play we gave up the strip sack. What also cost us the game was a delay of game penalty on the very first drive, which pushed us back out of field goal range, and Ron didn't feel comfortable. Which also cost this game was a false start. We had back-to-back penalties. We dropped back 10 yards. So what I'm saying is, yes, the penalties that the refs called that took points off the board were absolutely impactful in the game. And they took 8 points off the board plus a chance to get a conversion because we scored a touchdown. That's huge. Right. You can't take that away and say that didn't impact the game. But there were other plays out there that the Commanders were responsible for that absolutely did derail drives and take them out of field goal range and put them in second and long situations that the Giants took advantage of. So collectively, all of the penalties cost the Commanders the game.
Absolutely. And you cannot just look at the most publicized penalties, the ones that came late in the game, because there were other ones that kind of led up to that point. And Nathan says it best: officials shouldn't be in the conversation. We shouldn't have given them that opportunity to correct the game. Yeah, no, look, because you said it, and this is why I'm going to say this: if you know our offense, you know we need every bit of help that we can get. So if we have these early penalties like we had, that's stopping drives. There are times when we were driving down the field like, boom, like that. We had that drive where we hit the 61-yarder, and then we immediately hit a 12-yarder to what's his name? To Brian Robinson, and then get kicked back a little bit. The one where we get the 2nd and 18, we're pushed back, and then all of a sudden Kayvon Thibodeau comes around the corner. It's just our offense cannot afford to be behind the chains,
right.
And it's an issue. With that being said, yes, they missed those calls late. I will say this on the one with Terry McLaurin. In my opinion, I thought that was the right call. And I get Terry's point. We have the benefit of seeing on TV where you have the imaginary line. Terry does not. I played wide receiver for about 2 years. The first thing they taught me, before they said anything about catching the ball or anything about blocking or anything, they said you go up to the line, you get in your stance, and you immediately find the ref, and you say, am I on the line? The ref will either point forward, which means you're on it, or he'll point back. Some refs will even be like, scoot up an inch, or kind of tell you. Terry looked twice. If you look, he screwed up at first. He took like a half a step, and then he stopped there. It was the right call. I get that he was frustrated, and because he asked him, and you want him to kind of be like, yo, move all the way up. But it's just hard because I've been in that position where you look down the line and you kind of know where that line is. So you kind of know, okay, let me sit here and get close enough. Now, what might have happened, and he talked about this after the game, he said, I could have moved up a little bit more, but you don't know what the refs are going to call. Sometimes if your head is leaning like on the line, they'll call you for having a false start. You know what I mean? So it was kind of trying to protect that situation, and he was kind of back. He could have easily moved up a little bit, but in that particular play, it was the right call. Now, the call that I had a problem with was if you go to the play that we had, what was it, the 2-point conversion on the Samuel, where they called the offensive pass interference, or was that the touchdown? That was a 2-point conversion.
It was a 2-point conversion.
Where they called the offensive pass interference. I guess that I thought that was a bogus call. In my opinion, if I'm telling Jahan Dotson to do anything, I'm saying at least, make a play, do something.
Look like you're running a route.
Right. And because that's what they got him on. They got him on. I think, I was listening to the same Logan Paulson pod where they said they got him because he looked like he made an offensive, like a blocking posture. Like he didn't do anything to make it look like he was running the route. So for that, I definitely get it. But it didn't impact the play. He didn't touch the guy first. The guy touched him first. So by that logic, then you're saying it wouldn't have mattered what Jahan did. If the guy touches him, you would have sat there and called that because it was a pick play when you break it down. Come on now.
Did the DB covering Samuel get affected on it?
No.
He still made an attempt at playing defense, right?
Right.
That's kind of my problem with it too. Is yes, was it a pick play? Yes, that was the design. Other teams do this too. Sometimes you do it successfully, sometimes you don't. It's all about impact. Remember the same thing? The reason why when you put the thing saying officials shouldn't be in the conversation, I went, huh? That's our whole argument against the Dallas game is how many calls did go in our favor that were out there. Yeah. But one of the arguments we had in that game was on the interception by Forrest in that game, or Cam Curl, I can't remember, was the penalty they called on our corner was not affecting the route where Dallas was trying to go with the ball. And that's my same thing with both of those two calls there. It's like, is the pick play, did Jahan prevent the DB from making the play? No. And if he didn't, then doggone it, keep the flag in your pants then, Right. Let the players make the play. And then the Terry lineup, it's like this. It's the same thing. It's like, well, did he check with you? And you said move up, and then he moved up. Okay, then did they run to his side and did he block the guy?
No.
Did they throw a fade pattern to him and he had an extra step on him? No. So was that necessary? Right. That's my whole point of like, when you want to call that stuff judgment? Well, your judgment sucked on that.
Exactly. And going back to that one, even with that, if you ask once and he says move up, then you recheck. That's always what you're taught. Recheck with him. Okay, he looked over, and the second time the ref didn't even nothing. No movement, no gesture, no anything. That, in my mind, would have been something to me to be like, okay, should I move up? What should I do? But then at the same time, it's like, if the ref is okay with it, I asked him. He told me to move up. I moved up. I should be good.
Let me ask you this. So at that point, after Terry had moved up the first time, De'Ami Brown went into motion.
Yeah.
So if Terry had moved and moved forward, would we have been hit with an illegal shift penalty? Because we had two guys in motion at the same time.
That's true too. Yeah.
So could he move, or did he have to be frozen?
Well, and that's a good call. That's a good question, because you said, but even still, he might have been moving up. I had to look back at it, but he might have been moving up right when the motion started, which is absolutely right, because then it wouldn't even have mattered.
That's what that's what Logan Paulson was talking about in his pod. Yeah. He was talking about timing, and he's like, what if the official was seeing two guys at the same time and it wasn't where he was lined up? That's what he called, but he was like, well, I got to call something. I got to make up something because you all, this whole play setup was not right. I don't know.
Yeah, and that's the thing. He said Terry, I think, had to be frozen. To me, Terry moved up. Yeah. But at the end of the day, like I said, like I prefaced this whole thing with, we have the benefit of seeing the field with the imaginary line to know exactly where the ball is supposed to be. They don't have that. Now, mind you, the wide receivers they can look down the line, but to the point he said at in the post game, when you start to lean down and look like that, your head sometimes goes over. Some refs will call that. You know what I mean? So I can understand why maybe he was taking precautions from that standpoint. But to your point, the motion could have been an issue as well. Like, I don't know. To me, and it was crazy. You see it, as soon as he snaps it, the flag goes up, and you see Terry like, dude, I just asked you, man. Like what's going on? And then he actually talked to him as he ran by. He was like, what you told me I was good. I wonder what the ref said to him. You know, Terry wasn't really saying much about it. He said initially he was good, but when he ran past him to go consult with the other refs, I thought that he asked him something, but I don't know what exactly he said. But look, I don't think that one's on Terry because of the fact that if you told me you're good with the ref, I'm going to go on that. And for it to be, it's the timing when that messed everything up. That was frustrating to me.
Right. Well, and it's the other thing is if Terry messed up, if he didn't do things properly, how many times does he do things properly all throughout our season? It's like you got to give the guy a chance to make a mistake. Here's a little question for you: does this bother you at all? And I just looked up what was happening. Heineke chugged a beer, smashed the can on his hand, and pointed to his Tom Wilson jersey. He's at the Caps game.
Oh, my goodness gracious.
But I will say this. So part of me was like, whoa, we just had a bad loss. You're at a game. Tuesday is an off day, I believe. It usually is. But we do have a short week. I think everyone plays on Saturday because of Christmas on Sunday. So it's like we're in a kind of a must-win situation, and we're at a Caps game here. It's like, come on. You could go to any Caps game in January. Do you have to be there right now? Do you have to be there right now? It's like a catch-22.
Well, and so then, and this is gonna bring back an example of another quarterback. God rest his soul, Dwayne Haskins, that during the middle of a potential playoff run was out at a strip club doing this. Now the two things are different, but at the same time, it's just like, we really got on him about his focus. Where were you? You need to be focused. You need to, and not to mention the whole COVID implications and everything like that. But we were like, dude, you just lost the game and you were out here doing this. So to that, I'm like, yeah. But again, the guy's a human. The guy's taking a beating out there. I mean, Leonard Williams, Kayvon Thibodeau, Lawrence, Ojulari, those are not small dudes. And there's a couple times where they were landing, full tilt on him. So you want to sit here and say, yeah, go ahead, do your thing, man. Like, I'm not going to pick on you that bad. Like,
exactly.
You've been doing pretty solid. For the season you had, you deserve a beer.
Right.
I don't know if I would publicize that mess. You know what I mean? Like, especially with the trash bag in the plane. That to me, I'm like, bro, do that. Just put it in a suitcase, hide it, do something. Come on, man.
Thanks for watching. If you like that clip, be sure to check out the other great content from the Let's Talk Football community. And as always, please like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you'll be notified when more great content like this becomes available.